Are our dreams just random images fired from an unconscious brain during sleep? Or something much more important, like life-saving inner guidance? How dreams can be healing and early warning tools for disease, financial crisis, or success. And love is still one of the behavioral science's greatest unanswered questions. Hello, I'm your host, author Kat O'Keefe Kanavos. Welcome to Dreaming Healing, where dreams and cutting-edge scientific research meet on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Dreaming Healing is every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, when you can call in and ask Kat questions about your amazing dreams. Talk on air. Call toll-free, 833-220-1200. That's 833-220-1200. Come live your dreams out loud.
Good evening, everyone.
Kat.
I'm so glad you're here. This is Dreaming Healing, and I'm your host, Kat Kanavos. This show is live video, so if you're only listening right now and you would like to watch, go to my website, The Queen of Dreams, or KathleenO'KeefeCanavas.com, and look up in the right-hand corner. You'll see a little black button. It says Dream Vision 7. Click that, and you'll get to watch us. It'll take you to my page on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, and you'll see a little TV with some little antennae on it. Click on that, and it'll take you right to the YouTube, and you can watch us tonight, because this is going to be a heck of a show. This is story time. All right, so tonight's show title is All Things Wellness. And last week's show, in case any of you missed it, was Reverend Kelly Jo Monahan. She was a psychic detective and a paranormal investigator. That show was awesome. So you can go into my archives and pull that show up and watch it if you'd like to. So tonight's show, All Things Wellness, is with co-authors Coach Peggy Willms, Dr. Markus Wettstein, and publisher, author, media partner for the book, The Fourfold Formula for All Things Wellness. This is it right here. It's an awesome book. And yes, those are my little notes. I've read the book, and yeah, I'm telling you, it's really cool. You guys want to get it. So Teresa Velardi is the author, and she's the media partner, and she has a story in this book. So I'm going to be reading all those stories. And I'm also a contributing author and media partner too. The foreword for this book is written by James Redfield, author of the Celestine Prophecies. And this is Loki right to the left of me. And those of you who watch my show on a regular basis know that as soon as I turn this video on, Loki comes in, he steals all the light. Oh, we've got a dog. Oh, this is gonna be a great show, I can tell already. He just absorbs all the light. So tonight's show is Wellness Storytime. Loki, I can't even move this down. You're right in the way. Wellness Storytime. So do you want to be all that you can be or once were again? Does wellness seem kind of fleeting to you? Well, you're not alone. We can regain our wellness, or can we? Our health experts tonight say yes. And they're going to explain to us how, which is really important. But first, let's start the show with one of my favorite protection and clearing meditation. And that's why Loki is here. He loves this meditation. So if you're driving in the car and listening to us on the radio right now, keep your eyes open. Everybody else, find a really comfortable spot. Sit down, settle in, close your eyes. Listen to my voice and just follow my voice. During this meditation, I want you to imagine holding something really powerful for you. It can be a piece of jewelry, maybe a deceased loved one gave you. It can be your favorite stone. It can be a crystal. It can be a flower. It can be anything that holds power for you. That's your power gift. We're going to take in 3 really deep breaths. We're going to blow them across the room into the purple flame of Saint Germain, and we're going to see them turn into beautiful golden light so that we don't litter in the universe. Okay, and then we are going to build a mirrored bubble of protection. So settle down in deeply into your chair, close your eyes, and take your first deep breath in. Hold it. Imagine any negativity from the week. Maybe somebody said something to you or did something to you. Get it in that breath of life and blow it out. Across the room, into the purple flame of Saint Germain. Another deep breath in. Hold it. Maybe you said or did something to someone else. Imagine that negativity in that breath of life and blow it out. Across the room. One more time. Deep breath in. Fill your lungs all the way up, all the way down to the very bottom where your stomach is. Maybe something happened to you. Someone said something to you, something you did when you were younger, and you've carried it all your life. Blow it out across the room. Right into that purple flame of Saint Germain. See it going up into the universe, becoming beautiful golden light. Now imagine holding your power gift. Swing it around your body 3 times, 2, 3, and see it creating a beautiful mirrored bubble that only allows that which is of the highest and best to come into that bubble, brought by your spirit guides and guardian angels. We wish it so, and therefore it is. When you're ready, open your eyes. If you need to help yourself ground, put your hands together in the prayer form, because you're pushing on all the power points in your body, and it will help you regain your equilibrium in your chair. Okay, Loki, I've got to shift you, honey. I'm sorry, but your head is right in my way. This is Loki, my Siamese cat, and he loves to do the meditation with us, and he loves to greet our guests. So tonight, our first guest is Coach Peggy Willms, and she's the co-author of the book we're going to be talking about tonight, The Fourfold Formula for All Things Wellness. She is a trendsetter for 30 years, shattering the norm. She's a professional trainer, a sports performance nutritionist, health and wellness and life coach, manager of multi-million-dollar medical clinics, and more. You can find out more about her at Peggy Willms, and that's WILLMS.com. If you go to my page on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, Dreaming Healing, Peggy's picture, Dr. Markus's picture, Teresa's picture is up there with their extended bio, and all their links are hot.
No notifications.
So you can just click right on those links and it'll take you to their websites. Dr. Markus Wettstein is actually the way you say his name in German, but we're going to do it American. Wettstein is the co-author also of the 4 Formula for All Things Wellness. He's an endocrinology, diabetes, and metabolic specialist in Grand Junction, Colorado, with over 32 years of experience in the medical field and extensive expertise in osteoporosis and screening, diabetes and glucose monitoring, and thyroid disorders. He has a LinkedIn page, Markus Wettstein, and that's Wettstein. I have another link on my page for health grades physician. He's got another website that is his medical website, and you can go there to learn more about him. And Teresa Velardi wears many hats. She's a publisher, author, show host, speaker, editor, coach, and potter who touches lives worldwide. She works with coaching clients and authors to bring out the best of who they are and their message in a way that reflects their heart, mission, and effect on this changing world. And you can learn more about her at teresavelardi.com, and that's TeresaVelardi.com, and also AuthenticEndeavorsPublishing.com. So again, these bios are on my website for Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. So just click into Dreaming Healing and you'll see them. This is actually our second interview with a 3-part interview grouping, I guess you would call it, just for this book. Our first one was actually before the book was even written. And you can see that first interview on my YouTube playlist, Dreaming Healing YouTube playlist, or you can just Google Peggy Willms, Willms, on Dreaming Healing, and it'll come up in Google. That's how I found it tonight. So we want to pick up tonight from our previous interviews, which was pre-publication of this book, The Fourfold Formula for All Things Wellness, and it is now available on Amazon. So, Coach Peggy, you're not only the co-author of this book, but you also contributed a story to it, didn't you?
Couple of them, yes, I did.
Okay, well, tonight I want to talk about the one that really resonated with me because I think it's so true. So we're going to start this story time podcast with a story. We're going to do I Am Addicted to Mania by Coach Peggy Willms. And it's in the spirit section of this book on page 113. So Peggy says, I am imperfectly perfect and perfectly imperfect. That's her personal quote. I love it. My name is Peggy, and I am addicted to being manic. We are all addicted to something, such as alcohol, drugs, gambling, work, social media, and food. I am a mania addict. I get so much done. I can paint 4 rooms in a day and write a novel in a week. It feels like Christmas morning when I scrub every tile in the house with a box of Mr. Clean magic erasers, a bowl of bleach, and a few toothbrushes. Like any addiction, it only lasts so long before you crash and risk losing everything. So Peggy, I found that so true. We all are addicted to something. In my case, sometimes it's Loki. But in your story, what advice would you give to anyone who is addicted?
I think for me, or any addiction really, is you sometimes don't know you're addicted to it until you're in it and the red flags pop up and you see the negative effect of your behavior. So for me, I think a lot of people can't sit down and go, hi, I'm addicted to alcohol, or I'm going to be addicted to something. It's usually in hindsight, taking a look back. And for me, I think what happened with the mania piece is being a perfectionist and a type A and a firstborn. And it just kind of came along over decades. And that adrenal kind of rush, that was my drug. And it fed into itself to the point where those red flags did pop up, and they were catastrophic, physically, mentally, emotionally, relationships. You stop eating, you stop exercising, you stop talking to people, you stay in your office, you work if you're addicted to work. And then the mania would switch over here to doing something like exercise. So for me, it was more of and then you want more of it, right? But for me, more of it was just the high I got from getting things done. I'm addicted to a checklist that I get it done. Mm-hmm. And I've had to learn to manage that and kind of balance other parts of my wellness wheel, so to speak.
And in your story, you actually go into how you got that addiction under control, which I thought was just absolutely amazing. That's one of the things that was so great about your story. You just didn't tell the problem. You actually offered solutions that worked for you.
Mm.
You know, and that's really important. We're going to talk about that some more. Dr. Markus, you also co-authored and contributed the story in the book, The Mind Shares Secrets. And this is in the mind section. You've got different sections in the book, and this is in the mind section. So you write, I have learned that loving relationships based on compassion and cooperation align with leading a healthy and happy life. The secret is to have the mind listen to the heart. And then you write, a child should never witness war atrocities, yet they do. My parents grew up in Germany during World War II. At that time, everyone their age enrolled in a program called Hitler Youth. This was a kindergarten used for indoctrination. As a result, my parents' values and knowledge were doomed to reflect Aryan supremacy, the master race. They were promised 1,000 years of paradise. Instead, they lived in air raid bunkers and suffered severe starvation. I heard many gruesome stories from my parents. A child should never have to witness these atrocities, and the horrors certainly left deep scars. Unfortunately, there was never any time to turn inward to take care of these scars. So, Dr. Markus, we're seeing children severely scarred coming to schools, and they're witnessing atrocities at home. So how do these atrocities and terrors affect our children all the way into adulthood?
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting us. And yes, it is very important topic from my perspective to discuss things like childhood abuse, and because I went through that myself as well. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that when you are in an environment like you described with my parents, you just can't connect the heart and the mind. It's you're in survival 24/7, and you have to pay attention to that, otherwise you're not going to make it. So these type of things, you know, that's obviously a very extreme example, and you are right, children do experience these things in the home environment as well, just like I did. And the result of that is usually, like myself, somebody who is very introverted and not outgoing, not social person. And sometimes people turn against their parents or against themselves or against everybody else as a result of these experiences. And that's one thing where we want to try and intervene with our book by giving people the opportunity to understand that you can break this vicious cycle at any time if you have the right tools. We do in our book supply a tool called the Wellness Wheel, and everybody should go through that as far as I'm concerned. And I'm actually trying to see if we can manage to get that into clinical medicine, because it is, you know, it is very person-specific experiences that mark us and that pull us down in some occasions when it's a bad experience. And the awareness has to be there first, and our wellness wheel is supposed to give you the awareness so that you can recognize that you have a problem in this particular category, and you can work on it, or you can ask for help to work on it, and that will get everybody an individualized tool to home in on their sort of, I guess, deficiencies is not the right word, but you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and don't you find that sometimes people realize something's not, they don't feel right within their own skin, their own mind, their own body, but they are almost ashamed to ask for help?
That is very frequently the case. Some people just just go on with life, suck it up, so to say. You know, we get taught these things. You don't pay attention enough to it, they will fester. And that is the problem that we are trying to address. We don't need to carry all this baggage around. You have to identify it, and you have to open that suitcase and look what's inside and say goodbye, you know, and those type of things will move you forward and give you freedom and less anxiety, less stress.
And you've got to take that first step. And sometimes the first step is hearing somebody with a story similar to yours, realizing that they came through the storm. They were in the same storm you were in. They came through it. And through their story in a book, they can hold your hand and pull you along with them. And that's why I want to read the next story that I think is really important, kind of sums up the first two stories when people are in a position where they're going, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What can I do to help myself? And this story is called The Gift of Gratitude. And the Gift of Gratitude is also in the mind section of the book with Dr. Markus's. And Teresa, you published this book. And like me, you're a part of the media team and a contributing author in the book. Your story is The Gift of Gratitude, and it's on page 259 for those of you who already have your book and you're reading along with us. So, Teresa, let me read your story, if I may. Teresa's quote is, "Gratitude is the key that unlocks the door to prosperity in all areas of your life." What do you mean you have nothing to be grateful for? Seriously? What about the beautiful children you brought into this world and the grandchildren they gifted you with? What about the fact that every few seconds, without you even realizing it, your lungs take in a life-giving breath so you can live for another moment? How about the roof over your head and the man who loves you? What else would do anything for, who else would do anything for you? Shall I go on? You have nothing to be grateful for? Really? That was my response when I asked someone very close to me to stop the ranting about all that was wrong and all that she didn't have. I asked her to stop yelling, sit down, and tell me 3 things she was grateful for. How about just one? Just one. Her response, I have nothing to be grateful for. You might as well have knocked me over with a feather. So, Teresa Velardi, how can gratitude affect our health in a positive way, or the lack of that gratitude affect it negatively?
Yeah, thank you, Kat. That's a great question. You know, gratitude is the thing that will take us in one direction or another. If you look at everything that you don't have, you will have more of what you don't have. When you look at everything that you do have, you will have more of what you do have. So in the case of a health situation, if you focus on your symptoms, if you focus on your pain, if you focus on your whatever it is you're going through, whether it be physically, emotionally, financially, relationally, whatever it is, any area of your life. If you're focused on the negative, you're going to get more of the negative. And if you focus on being grateful for something in any situation, and you can pull just one thing out at a time that you're grateful for, that opens the doorway for more things to come up that you are grateful for. If you focus on it, you're going to really see. In this situation, but by the time the conversation was over, I actually had her giving me a list of things that she was grateful for, because she had no clue. She had no clue. She was so stuck in the problem that she had no way to find the solution. And this applies in any area of your life. Gratitude is universal. And
I agree.
yeah, it's universal. It's a universal tool to help you to live your best life, knowing that anything that you have. A friend of mine wrote a story called Two Fishes.
Hold on to that thought, Teresa. We have to take a break, and when we come back, let's talk about that.
Okay.
You are watching Dreaming Healing on DreamVision7Radio.com. I'm your host, Kat Kanavos. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
What if dreams can diagnose your life? What if we can meet the love of our life in dreams? Join host Kat O'Keefe Kanavos, the #1 internationally best-selling author of Dreams That Can Save Your Life, written with Duke University medical doctor Larry Burke. Dreaming Healing is where we'll explore dreams, research, and interpret dreams from you, the caller. Dreaming Healing shows can be heard every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Are miracles real? Can you move from mayhem to miracles? 30 prominent authors say yes as they share their high fives and down lows of challenges, abuse, addiction, and love. Experience hope, the magic elixir of miracles, through the personal stories of New York Times bestselling authors James Redfield, Dr. Bernie Siegel, Sister Jenna, Reverend Temple Hayes, and many more. If you like bestsellers, chaos to clarity, and crappy to happy, you'll love crying and laughing through mayhem to miracles. Sacred stories of transformational hope. Available now on Amazon and in bookstores worldwide.
Did you know that every word you speak matters? What you say and how you say it can make or break a relationship or shift the outcome of any situation. Are your conversations making a difference? Faith in God, gratitude, authenticity, and giving are Teresa Velardi's heart. It's in this spirit that she's focused on making a difference in the lives she's blessed to touch. Conversations That Make a Difference is now on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
In a world facing annihilation, a miraculous African nun rises to become the first female pope through a web of war, murder, and betrayal. Loved by some, hated by many, she becomes the deadly target of Islamic terrorists and her own cardinals as she introduces a new vision that will either save humanity or accelerate its destruction. 4 people must race against a nuclear holocaust to learn her astonishing secret. Pope Annalisa is available at petercanova.com, Amazon, and other online booksellers and bookstores worldwide.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
So, welcome back. Before we get started with getting back into what Teresa Velardi was talking about, gratitude, because I think gratitude, if you don't have any other pills, a great big pill of gratitude is so awesome. Peggy, I know that you have some things that you want to give away to our audience tonight. I don't want to spoil the gift, so I'm going to let you explain it.
With We're going to give away 5 of these autographed books. If you go out to Amazon and you look for the Fourfold Formula, which make sure you put the hyphen in there, but Fourfold Formula for all things wellness, it's actually coming up first, I think, now in the searches. And you buy your own book and you email me the receipt. Let me just see your invoice at peggy@allthingswellness.com. The first 5 people, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, the 13th, for those of you watching, will get a second book.
Great. That sounds wonderful. Did everybody get that? Okay, great. Don't worry if you didn't. We're going to have Peggy explain it again before the show is over.
I might give away another 5. I'm feeling so good. Who knows?
Oh,
Marcus is like, no, you didn't ask me.
Fading into the background now.
that is so funny. I love it. Yeah, if you want to give anything, we could. Hey, you know what? We could raffle off Marcus.
He's expensive.
Is he? Okay, so he's only going to go,
Yeah.
for a high price to very few people. But hey, we could do it. Teresa, just before the break, we were talking about gratitude, and our gratitude is we've got Marcus on here, then we can raffle him off. What's another type of gratitude that you talked about in your story?
Oh my goodness. So I wanted to talk about gratitude and how it breeds abundance. And there's a very good example, and a friend of mine wrote a story. She put up an anonymous website called Two Fishes, and there's her story of having lived with so much money and then having lived without so much money, and she has found happiness in living without that which she really did not need, but has gained so much in the relationships that she has with her children and her family. And it's really awesome. But one of the things that I want to go to every time I talk about gratitude and this particular topic of abundance, I'm brought back to a Bible story where Jesus feeds the 5,000. When he gives the Sermon on the Mount, the apostles want to send the people out to go get something to eat. And Jesus says, you feed them. And so they say, how are we going to do that? All we have is 5 loaves and 2 fish, a little boy's lunch that he had brought with him. And so the scripture says that all Jesus did when the disciples brought that to him was look up to the heavens and give thanks. He broke the bread and it fed the 5,000 with 12 baskets left over. So that right there is the biggest example I can give of gratitude. All he did was say thank you, period. That's it. So if you're in a place where you don't feel like this person did, she was like, I don't have anything to be grateful for. And as you could tell, I rattled off like in a short period of time, in one breath, all of those things that she had and didn't realize she really had, because she never focused on what she had and what she was grateful for. And once your mindset shifts into a place of gratitude, then the whole world is your oyster.
Yeah, the whole world opens up because you shift the vibration that's around you. You shift your aura, you shift everything. Speaking of shifting, Peggy, do you still consider yourself the addicted person, and how did you get over it or learn to control it?
Oh, absolutely. I still am. Ask Marcus. Absolutely. I like I said in the book, I've been a health and wellness coach in this industry for over 3 decades, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend I've got everything all figured out. I think that's one of the things that we just need to sit down and admit to ourselves, that every day something's going to be thrown at us that we didn't expect. And every single day we're going to have to get uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And every single day we're going to fall back to some of those habits that we've carried along for decades and decades. And I think once we stand up tall, and it's very similar to the 12-step program. I'm Peggy Willms. I'm addicted to mania. And what the heck am I going to do about it? What are my signs? What do I need for a support system? And what are the baby step things that I can do each day to move a little bit forward? When you're addicted to mania or addicted to whatever, you don't see it when you're in an episode. And my episodes, like many people addicted to sex, drugs, rock and roll, whatever it is, they come gradually. I don't wake up that morning and go, wow, I can't wait to work 17 hours today. It happens very gradually, and most often when I'm really passionate about something. And so I don't see it. And for me with mania, I think for anybody listening or watching today, unfortunately, society really commends us for working long hours. They commend us for being an overachiever and an A+ student. And society hasn't caught up quite yet to be able to say, you know what, stop. I'm here for you. What gives you this rush that you have? How can I help you? How can I feed you? How can I, take you for a walk? We've got to stop working like we do and holding ourselves to standards that we do. And if you guys know anybody out there that does some of the things that I say in my story, they just need a hug. Like, I'm not an emotional person in the sense of asking to support me for emotion, but I'll tell you, Markus, who's close to me, I have a small circle I had to let in. And so you guys, you've got to let somebody in. You've got to let 5 or 6 people in that know the real, raw, yucky crap. They know when you look tired. They know when you're BSing. They know when you're not eating. They know when you're lying. And you have to let them guide you and love you. And I used to run from those people. Stop running, or you're going to get sick, or your addiction is going to get worse and win. Your addiction will win.
Oh, I love that. That's so true. And you really opened up your heart there and explained to our audience what to kind of watch for. So, Dr. Markus, what signs or behaviors would you tell parents, teachers, grandparents, or even adults themselves about themselves to watch for concerning stress affecting their health or their child's health?
Mm-hmm. Well, there is always an escalation when it comes to children, right? The biggest one is kids don't want to listen. And so when kids don't listen and adults have to repeat themselves, it slowly winds up getting into this spiral situation. And then in the end, there's probably, the epitome might be a butt swatting, but if people cannot contain themselves, it can get worse. And the problem is to recognize that you're on this path and then disrupting, moving along, because it is unfortunately frequently very traumatic to children. When their parents lose it, so to say, that is a very traumatic experience for a child, because the parent is the epitome of what's out there at a young age. And if, there are obviously age ranges. I'm talking about the non-teenagers, so the youngsters. They're very impressionable, and they see their parents in distress, and maybe there's some aggression and things like that, and they all leave scars. So the point as a parent then would be to start realizing what triggers you to go along that path and try and stop it before it gets out of hand. It is a process, and it is not easy to do. It is much easier to let your anger out on the child's bottom, and unfortunately, it's not going to be helpful for anybody or anything. So, this book that we have come up with is giving you some insight into processes that you can intervene to try and disrupt your bad negative behavior towards your children.
Excellent. Teresa, what steps do you think someone who is blind to gratitude or are sitting in the negative shadow of negativity, what can they do to begin to see the gratitude in their life? Like right now, let's say somebody is sitting there, they're in a terrible mood. They think that their whole life is coming down around their ears. They have nothing to be grateful for. What would you say to them to help them see that one little seed of gratitude?
Well, just like with my story, I would say, I would interrupt the cycle of the negativity and say, so now that you've let all that out, tell me just one thing today that went well, one thing you have to be grateful for. And sometimes that word scares people. I don't know, just like the reaction, like, I have nothing to be grateful for. Yeah, I've heard that more than once. Tell me one thing that made you feel good today. One thing that one situation, what did you meet someone new? Did someone, I don't know, hold the door for you when you walked out of the grocery store? Did anything that you can think of that somebody did out of kindness or out of just because they are compassionate people? Or, the world today is so crazy, I'll use that word, that a lot of people forget. A lot of people forget to be nice to one another. They forget to smile at each other. They forget to do simple things like hold the door open, make a phone call to somebody who crosses your mind. If somebody crosses your mind, I firmly believe that's that person saying, I need somebody to call me who loves me right now. And if somebody crosses your mind, call that person. Give them say hello. I was just thinking about you. How are you? Just to bring a smile to somebody's face. And I don't care how bad somebody's day is. They'll say, like Peggy said, you have to let people in. They'll say to you, I'm so glad you called. I'm really having a bad day. Do you mind listening to me for a minute? And it just opens up that person. And then you can plant those little seeds of gratitude and how to shift it around during that conversation, because, and it works every time. I know because I use it, and I'm consistently grateful for those experiences.
Well, we have like 1 minute before we go to our next break. So Teresa, since you're the publisher of the book, can you tell us where we can find the book, and will you hold the book up next to your face so that we can see the book next to you? Tell us where we can find it, maybe even during the commercial.
You can go to Amazon.com and get the book there. Look for the fourfold formula. If you put in the 4-fold formula, it will come right up. I've searched it many times. I've sent it to some people. This book here is hefty. It's got 40 stories in it that touch on 4 different segments: body, mind, spirit, and heart. And all of the authors will bring you to a higher place no matter where you are in your life. The stories are incredible. So thank you for the opportunity to be the publishers. I'm the publisher on this book, Peggy and Markus. And thank you, Kat, for your participation in the book. You did some work here too. And I am beyond grateful to be able to present this to the world. And I hope you get your copy. And if you buy it, like Peggy said, during the time that's after this show, you get another copy free.
That's what it looks like right there. It's got their beautiful cameos on there. And it's got the title, The Fourfold Formula, for all things wellness. We've got to go to a quick break. You are watching Dreaming Healing on DreamVision7RadioNetwork.com. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
What if dreams can diagnose your life? What if we can meet the love of our life in dreams? Join host Kat O'Keefe Kanavos, the #1 internationally best-selling author of Dreams That Can Save Your Life, written with Duke University medical doctor Larry Burke. Dreaming Healing is where we'll explore dreams, research, and interpret dreams from you, the caller. Dreaming Healing shows can be heard every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Omega Institute, offering workshops, retreats, and online learning dedicated to awakening the best in the human spirit. For over 40 years, Omega has seen more than 1 million people come through its doors to grow, learn, and find a greater sense of purpose. Located in Rhinebeck, New York, just 90 miles north of New York City, Omega's natural environment and quiet pace allow for extraordinary experiences to unfold. Learn more at eomega.org or call 800-944-1001.
Why are we here? How can we be happy? Questions asked from millennials to boomers. Crappy to happy. Sacred Stories of Transformational Joy answers them using true stories of grit, grace, and love. James Redfield, author of The Celestine Prophecy, wrote in the foreword, "This book is a seminar about emerging truths and offers grounded solutions through the art of the comeback." Dr. Bernie Siegel, a contributing author, wrote, "Bodies die, but spirits and consciousness survive and recycle." So, grab some tissues, open your book, and prepare to cry and laugh till it heals. Crappy to Happy by Reverend Ariel Patricia and Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos. Available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and booksellers worldwide. Darkest hours to brightest moments. Transformation from despair to happiness. And chaos to clarity. Real people, real pain, real healing. Life-threatening illness, death, abusive relationships, divorce, and overcoming addiction are challenges these men and women faced head-on. See how they emerged stronger and happier. Buy the new book, Chaos to Clarity, Sacred Stories of Transformational Change by Reverend Patricia Caginello and Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos. Available on sacredstoriespublishing.com and worldwide through Amazon and other retailers.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Dreaming Healing on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, and I'm your host, Kat Kanavos, and we're talking about the fourfold formula for all things wellness tonight. The foreword was actually written by James Redfield of the Celestine Prophecies. If you're going, what's the Celestine Prophecies? Oh my goodness. Read the foreword and suddenly you'll realize why his book was a #1 bestseller, New York Times, world over. So these stories, these aren't just any stories in this book. These are stories that show profound storms. They come from people from around the world. These are worldwide issues, and we can all identify with them. But what's so extraordinary about this book is it just doesn't give you the problem. It also gives you solutions, and that's what makes the difference. We all have problems, but when we can read something that resonates with us and gives us a helping hand up with the solution that's tried and true and works, then we've got a profound book. So we're coming up to the end of our show, and I just wanted to give you guys time to share with the audience some final thoughts that you have about the book, whether it was in writing the book, collecting the stories, something that you might want to still share with us that I didn't ask. And so let's start with you, Peggy. What are some final thoughts you'd like to leave us with?
I think that Markus and I could probably write a book about our experience about writing the book. When we first started this venture, I think we both took a very left brain approach to this, a very professional approach to this. Mm-hmm. You know, we had 60 plus years between us. We thought we'd gather a bunch of stories from amazing people and we'd give them a platform to share their stories. What we didn't expect is to gain the relationships, to create the community we did, the support systems for them to reach out to each other, to get jobs from each other, to counsel each other. We didn't expect to cry when we edited them. We didn't expect to feel the weight of the stories. I think what my lesson would be, if I gave anybody a call to action tonight, would be to really think about why you're diving into something. I am the most proud of Markus and myself, because when we started this project, we said, come from your heart, come from your heart, come from your heart. We reminded ourselves every day of that. And I believe that's what brought us the right authors, the right people to work with, the right media partners, the right platforms, the right results, because we did this from our heart. The stories are from their heart. We're writing a second book coming out. This is actually a trilogy. The second book, we're taking authors right now. It's called Win the Wellness War. The acronym WAR stands for We Are Responsible. It's the same layout for all things wellness, true stories, 4 chapters, heart, spirit, mind, and body. And if you're interested to reserve a spot, go to www.allthingswellness.com/author and join the family, because that's exactly what we are, Markus, right?
Yeah, and I understand that you've already got some stories in that book already. People from the first book said, oh, I want to be in the second book too, which is, it's like a confirmation that your book has meaning to them, and it gives them a platform to help others. Because let's face it, most of us that go through a storm come out the other side all drenched in water and mud and gunk. The first thing we want to do is help somebody else who's coming out behind us.
Well, and I think what happened, and you're absolutely right, is we found like-minded people. It's spiderweb to people that they connect with. So you have a beautiful person and a beautiful heart who says, hey, come along. Hey, come along. And so pretty soon, we've done no advertising for this. It is all word of mouth. It is a beautiful way that this has evolved. And we eat, drink, and sleep this project. So join us, literally.
Yes, you do.
I'm doing it with one of my best buddies. Markus is very close to me. So
yes, Dr. Markus, what would you like to share with our audience at the end of the show, maybe that I didn't touch on?
Like Peggy mentioned already, all the transformation that occurred. Now, I'm a foreign born. I came over to the United States when I was 20 years old. So it was kind of daunting when Peggy told me, hey, come on, you're going to have to write, but the process of, Peggy mentioned the process of working with the other authors, but just working with myself has given me a level of confidence that I never had before that is quite staggering to me, actually. Peggy can tell you, when we first met, I was almost ready to stutter if somebody asked me a question,
Oh, yeah.
And now you're on radio shows and TV
having
shows.
a fantastic time. I'm supposed to be that. And what gave me the opportunity? Well, just work with this, and maybe you'll be as lucky as well. That's all I can say.
I love it. I love it. Teresa, what final thoughts would you like to leave with our audience about this book and maybe your story or anything else?
So first, I want to say that I want to affirm that Markus is definitely not the same person he was the first time I met him. He has opened up. He has become, your words yourself, Markus, more confident and able to, and look at you now on radio shows, TV shows, doing what you do, and wanting to go the next go round too. So it's awesome. It's awesome. So this has been a labor of love, as is many of the books that I work with. And Kat, from Weeby Books, and this is under the wellness. This is under wellness endeavors, wellness book endeavors. I think wellness is like the place where people need to focus today, whether we're talking about physical, emotional, relational, and focusing on the wellness wheel. I think that it's all important. And the gratitude piece can help open the doors for you to be able to step on to that wellness wheel. And the wheel goes around just like the wheels on your tire. When you get a flat, sometimes you get stuck, and a lot of us have flats in our wellness wheel.
We have flats in our life, yes.
Yeah, we have flats in our wellness wheel. So I can tell you that this has the stories in here, and I want to speak to people who have the urge, who have had the urge to write something. because a lot of times people will say, especially if your story has brought you great pain, if you've come out on the other side of it and you have a solution to the problem, in my opinion, you have an obligation to tell your story, and you can get raw and real and get down to it, because you know what? Seeing all these authors get raw and real about their circumstances makes you get raw and real about your own, and have their success breeds success in the readers who actually open the pages of this book. Every single one of these stories has a message. And if I can say anything about gratitude, a lot of these authors have stepped into a little project that I'm doing where they can share a short story about gratitude as well. So there's more information about that available too. So you can just, go to teresavelardi.com, go to Daily Gift Book Series, and you'll see all about that. But once you get started, here's the beauty of writing. And Kat, you know this. And Peggy, you know it. And Markus, you got the bug too. And I've always had the bug. Once you get started with writing, it's hard to stop.
Yeah.
It's hard to stop.
It's so cathartic. I mean, and that's the other thing about all these stories in this book. They're cathartic.
Exactly.
And even my story, which is titled Even Coaches Need Coaches and Therapists on page 197. Everybody, whether you're a coach or a therapist, at some point in your life, if you're a human being, you're going to need a coach and a therapist, or a book full of them.
Exactly.
So we've come to the end of our show. It's amazing how quickly these shows go. So I really want to thank you, Coach Peggy and Dr. Markus and Teresa, for being our guest tonight. And thank you, all of our listeners and our audience, for joining us for exciting personal stories, explaining how to balance your wellness and well-being by embracing all things wellness and the All Things Wellness Wheel, known as ATW in the book. And again, thank you, Coach Peggy and Doc Markus and Publisher Teresa, for sharing your expertise and tips about the fourfold formula for all things wellness. I hope you out there all enjoyed these true stories of the heart, spirit, mind, and body. Until next week, tune in next Tuesday, because we're going to have another great interview about your health and wellness. Until then, remember, everybody dreams. Some dreams save lives. Sweet dreams to all of you. Good night.
Thank you for joining us this evening, and a big thanks to our producer. Tune in next time to Dreaming Healing for more cutting-edge research, live dream interpretations, and stories with radio host and award-winning author Kat O'Keefe Kanavos. Listen every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Time with call-in live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. Remember, everyone dreams, but some dreams save lives. Live your dreams. Find more about Kat at KathleenO'KeefeKanavos.com. That's Kathleen with a K. OKEEFEKANAVOS, or The Queen of Dreams on Google search.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.